season, and we are all being called to rest right now. And it's something that we're not used to doing. Rest is so therapeutic and so important to slow down and to trust. And we're going to talk about that today. And so this has been a beautiful lesson for me the last couple of weeks, as I know it has been for you. And we are excited to share our soul wisdom and our guidance on how we have been able to calm our nerves and welcome inner peace and really just anchor in, excuse me, a solid foundation for us to pivot and grow in a very powerful, grounded, anchored, safe, and loving way. And we're really, really excited to share this with you. So here we go. Mm-hmm. Oh, also, at the end, for thanking you for your time, we do have an announcement that we're going to make. So full disclosure, we are announcing a program that we are so excited to share with you, but that is not the purpose of today. That is just maybe a 5 or a 10 minute at the end. This is fully to serve you and to share everything that we know to help you in the next stage of your life. And we're excited to share that, and we'd love for you to stick around if you are enjoying this and you want to connect with us further. There's a way that you can do that with us at the end. And then one other bonus for those that are on the live or catch the replay, we have an extra beautiful bonus that we'll share with you at the end that we can't wait to share with you. And yeah, so again, if there's any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And here we go. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and I did this before, I'm just going to sage again, just to show you that this is something I do quite often. And I know Kristy does it as well. And cleaning our space and cleaning our energy and protecting is so important. And I didn't realize how important this was until I realized how powerful energy was. And not knowing what anything about that was a few years ago, this is a very important part of my life and my ritual. It's a protection, it's a grounding, it's a centering, it's a cleansing, because this is our sacred home. And you know, you clean your home and you dust it and you vacuum, and it's just the same as cleaning and protecting this home, because home is where the heart is, and you keep this space sacred and beautiful and loved, and it will serve you well. So I'm going to take a moment and just do a little grounding and centering, and then we're off to the races. Do you have anything else you want to add, Kristy?
No, I'm just going to ground with you. Center, come to heart center.
All right, so I've just saged, and so I will just share with you what I say quite often throughout the day, or when I work with clients or myself or whatnot. So just close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. I invite the Great Spirit, to ground, center, and connect me to Mother Earth's organic matrix, and to ground, center, and connect me to Mother Earth's emerald heart and the black core beneath it for my highest benefit now, for our highest benefit now. And I invite Mother Earth to release and draw out all negative, low vibrational energies and frequencies from within and around all of our entire beings, and create this beautiful sacred space for us in this moment for our highest benefit now. And I invite all of our angelic realms, all of our angels, our guides, our spirit animals, our higher self, our heart, our soul, our inner child, our divinity, to connect into us and grow and expand within us, and welcome in the highest service of our highest self in this moment now. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. So Kristy and I are going to share with you our wisdom and what we have learned to bring inner peace and calm into our world. I'm going to spend some time focusing predominantly on relationships and internal and external guidance. And I'm going to give you my healing wisdom that I have learned and experienced. And by no means is this an exhaustive list. This is what I've learned. But if you do have questions and you want to learn more, just one moment. And then Kristy is going to share about her experience with nutritional guidance and all of that amazing goodness. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I just want to make sure my power's on my phone. Energy. And every single thing that we experience in life is a relationship. And when I was able to put those two together, my world shifted. And with that, that has brought more balance into my world. And balance is the initial part, which leads to harmony. And harmony is like that finesse, that fine tuning. And the more balance and the more harmony you have in your world, the more wealth you receive in all areas of your life. And this includes reduction of anxiety, calm, stress, etc. It was for a little. What did I just do? Can you guys hear us okay still? I think we should be good. Can you hear me, Kristy?
It was just cutting out a little bit, so you can keep.
You're good? Rolling. Okay. And so with the concept of energy, and I didn't know this before, what I have really come to realize is we have a masculine and a feminine energy within all of us. And I'm going to share with you why this has really shifted the way that I look at things and how this serves my life. Like I said, we're going to talk about internal and external guidance and some ways that I have been able to heal and serve you. And so your masculine energy, it's a yin and a yang, it's an ebb and a flow, it's a partnership that we all have in every component of everything that we experience in this universe. It is in Mother Nature. It is in the relationships that we experience within ourselves, most powerfully and most importantly, but in our interpersonal relationships, in our career, money. Every single thing has a relationship of a masculine and feminine, and everything encompasses energy. And when you understand how to maneuver and use this, everything will shift. So your masculine knows how to lead and guide you. It is strong, it is anchoring, it is all the systems, it's the direction, it's the solutions, it's the action, okay? And the feminine is the nurturing, it's the tenderness, it's the creativity, it's the freeness, it's the self-care, it's enchanting, it's all the feelings, and then the masculine does. And you can't have one without the other. And it's beautiful because sometimes you need a little bit of this and sometimes you need a little bit of that. And that's the partnership of the harmony of the ebb and the flow that you get to experience in life. And so how this helps you is, you know, we all have a higher self, a higher power that we believe in, whether it's God, the universe, the divine, whatever that is what you believe in, and that is true and powerful and perfect in the moment. And that can change, or that can stay the same, or, you know, whatever. I mean, years ago, I used to go to church with my parents, and I believed in God and all that sort of stuff. I believed in aliens, I believed in angels, I believed in ghosts, you name it. And my world has shifted now where I look at things very different, and I look at God, the universe, the divine very differently, where it's internal. It's not external to me anymore. I'm not going somewhere to get my guidance. My guidance is coming from within. And when you make that shift and you understand that your guidance from within unconditionally loves you and unconditionally wants you to experience the most divinely, powerfully beautiful life possible, everything shifts, and you get that choice to decide where you want that guidance or that leadership to come from. Whether it's external, which is your current reality and everything that you know, or if it's internal, which is really infinite possibilities of anything and everything that you can imagine. The problem is we don't know this. We just know what we know, and that's totally fine. And so when you surrender to this source guidance, this God, this divinity, this universe, the internal guidance that comes from you, for you, through you, everything shifts. And so how you choose to experience this divine guidance, it gets manifested through the desires of your soul. And then your ego or your mind then gets to decide through free will how it's going to present itself in this world. And that is your current reality. And so both your ego, your current reality, and your higher self, your soul, they love you. Fiercely, fiercely love you. They want you to be happy. They want the best for you. And the interesting part with this is the strong will survive. So whatever you nurture, whatever you exercise will grow. And so you get to choose what you want to exercise. Do you want to exercise your current reality, everything that you know in this life to be true? Or do you want to exercise your higher self and all the infinite possibilities of anything and everything that you might not even realize to be true, but you don't have any proof? And so both of these really, really love you very fiercely. And one is your internal CEO and one is your external CEO. And like I said, you get to exercise that which you want to strengthen. So your current reality, your ego loves you fiercely and it wants to control your current reality. It wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you protected. It loves you. And this current reality that gives you pleasure, your ego only knows how to experience this in this reality that you're experiencing inside this box that it's living. But it doesn't know that there's other boxes, that you don't even need to be in a box. You can just experience anything and everything. And your ego only knows how to live in this box. It doesn't know, and this box is this one lifetime, this human experience that you've got, all of your experiences that you've had to date. It doesn't know that your soul has experienced many other experiences in many other boxes in many other lifetimes. And so all that you desire and all that's possible is in any number of any of these infinite possibilities. And your ego loves you and it wants you to keep you safe in this box. And your soul loves you and wants you to experience everything and anything. And they both kind of go like this. And so your ego only knows how to give you pleasure in this world. And I like to share that this is a painful way to experience pleasure, whether it's big or small, because it's not aligned with your higher self, with your source guidance, with what is there for you to have the divine life that you are here to live. It's attaching it to all the external realities and experiences that no. So it's painful because it's taking longer for you to experience these things, or, it's out of alignment with your soul experience. And it's painful and it's uncomfortable because you're trusting that external guidance and not the internal guidance. So your ego unknowingly gets pleasure externally. So this is through attaching, this is through validating, this is through seeking, chasing, hurting yourself, controlling, depending on what it knows in this current reality, and not remembering that there's any number of different ways for you to experience your pleasures, all your heart's desires in any other reality. And so you have to work for that pleasure because there's friction. It's out of alignment with your highest desires. And so then doing this effort, this hard work to get your pleasures reinforces, okay, well, the ego's telling me that I have to do it this way, so I'm going to keep doing this way because this is the only way that I know how to do it in this reality, in this box, in this experience. And this is based on your learned experiences, your learned patterns, your learned beliefs, your current reality. And the result that you get from this experience, it's predictable. I do this, I get that. And it fiercely loves you. And so it doesn't want you to fail. It doesn't want you to have no pleasure. So it keeps doing, it keeps repeating, it keeps doing the hard way for you to get your pleasure, not knowing that there's a path of least resistance. And it keeps externally satisfying these pleasures the only way it knows how. And so why does your ego do this? Your ego, your mind, does this because it relies on these external attachments. Oh, I think I just lost Kristy. Okay, here we go. So your ego does this because it's relying on external attachments. It's all that it knows. It's getting its leadership externally. It's getting its guidance externally. It's getting pleasures externally. The kicker with this is you're never satisfied because you're always left wanting more. It's never enough. You're yearning, you're seeking, you're validating, you're explaining, you're pleasing. Your fulfillment is fleeting. I'm just going to add. Oh, what did I just do? There we go. Your fulfillment is fleeting because you're seeking your pleasure externally. And this puts you in a state of survival, not thriving. I just got a message from my husband that I don't have to cut out early, that he's going to be home to get the kids.
Yay.
Yay, because I was worried I would have to do that. So your ego, unknowingly, unconsciously, unaware, the only way it knows how to get your pleasure, is to go outside of you, because that's all that it knows to do. And this leaves you in a state of exhaustion and overwhelm and survival. So here's some examples for you, okay? And I have written these notes down. I have notes because of COVID. I'm a space cadet right now, and this is helping me ground. So you struggle with being told what to do. You have a boss that says, I need to do X, Y, Z, and you do it begrudgingly, or you're in a relationship and you don't really totally align, so you have a hard time being told what to do. It's because there's some piece that's out of alignment with your inner guidance, your higher self saying, this is my way to my pleasure, and there's some friction, so you have a hard time with that. You're a people pleaser. You have a hard time getting your point across. You're over-explaining. You're trying to validate your truth. You're basically trying to go all the way around the story to try and find a way to get your point across because there's something that's out of alignment with what you deeply believe and deeply feel to be true. Addiction. We all have some form of addiction, whether it's food, television, social media, relationships, drugs, alcohol, fitness, the mind, the way your mind talks to you. There's any number of addiction that we're experiencing because it's based on something external that we are getting our leadership and our guidance from. And when you're trusting something outside of you, it's always going to leave you in a state of feeling ungrounded, questioning, not stable, not believing, not fully achieving, exhausted, because you're going in circles and you're living in chaos and you're not in the direct flow of what your higher self wants you to experience. There's friction. And so you're always going to feel off. And so how you can shift this perspective is I'm going to invite you to look at things differently as the creator of your reality. You are the one that powerfully gets to create your reality. You are the one that is the leader. Your leadership shifts from external to internal. And we all desire to have some way of being led. It's just giving your leadership, like having you're responding to the CEO of a company telling you what to do. Well, your CEO isn't within you now. And then you trust that guidance and you act on that guidance. And so this might feel really uncomfortable at first. This might feel foreign. This might feel messy. I've been dealing with this for the last few years. And at the very beginning, this made no sense to me. And now it makes total sense to me. But before, it was very confusing and overwhelming. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And it's a slow release. It's a safety. It's a delicate, graceful leadership, one piece at a time. And you'll get there. And this is where the magic part happens. Okay, and so we're going to give you some tools at the end that will help you specifically through this piece to shifting this external to internal. But I'm going to go into a little bit deeper now about the guidance piece. So when you surrender your ego to your soul guidance, your higher self. Remember, your ego only knows this reality that it's living in. It really, really loves you, and it wants you to have everything and anything in the only reality that it knows. But remember, your soul has the ability to create anything and everything like that. And so when you surrender your ego, or like your CEO of your body, to your soul, to welcome the desires that you manifest, and you allow your soul to surrender to source or God or divine, and you're basically a channel moving through that message of service to yourself and to others, this is where things shift, because source and God and the divine love you unconditionally, and they want the best for you. They want your life to be easy, and they want your life to be pleasurable, and they want you to shift from chasing your external leadership to creating it from within. And so some of the things that you will begin to experience when you make this shift from external to internal is powerful, unwavering self-trust, calm confidence. You will receive deep stability, graceful leadership. You become the calm in the center of the storm of everything swirling around you, and you're not moving. The drama is gone. The drama is gone. The stress is reduced. The anxiety is reduced. You sleep better. You feel better. You look better. And I don't know about you, Kristy, but I look totally different than from a few years ago.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and it's all, just to add to that, it's all within you, and you being connected to your body and listening to what feels good to you, because life doesn't have to be so stressful and difficult and anxious and all this, chaos around us. When we learn to actually be more connected to our bodies and be within ourselves and listen to that inner guidance, we know exactly who is causing that stress in our lives, who makes us feel uncomfortable. They might be good people, but they might also create anxiety within ourselves. And there is something to be said there, some kind of message within that. Maybe that person is triggering you because there's something that you need to heal around what that person is triggering you about, or possibly that person just is not supposed to be around you. You're not supposed to be around that person. That person is not good energy for you. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to add to that. So like listening to your body, your inner guidance.
It's totally listening. Yeah, and we've been programmed without even realizing it to lead with our mind and to not lead with our heart. And there's a whole other energy system that I wasn't taught about, chakras and energy and all this amazing stuff. And there's so much wisdom in your body, and we're so shut off from it. And when you turn it on and you tap into it, like, it's that intuitive hit, and we're just sharing with you how to anchor in and deeply trust it, because that is your barometer, that is your compass, and that is not wrong, 1000%. And all you have to do is let go. Right? I've heard that one before, and surrender and all these wonderful things. And and it's like peeling back the layer of an onion, and it's just one step at a time. And you don't have to jump right in. You can go as slow or as fast as you want. But it's a journey, and it's a journey of trust, and it's getting to know and remember who you are. And that's where the confidence and the trust and the calm and the anxiety reduces, because you're like, okay, like, this makes sense. I get this. And like, for me, it's the first time in my life I've ever felt anchored, and just like, I feel like a tree with roots that go down 200 feet now. And it's just a very different feeling. And so this is the letting go and trusting that your ego, as much as it loves you, your mind, as much as your mind loves you, does not know everything. And that's okay, because it's trying its best. And you know, and your body has these experiences and has these memories. I think our DNA goes back like 12 generations. You know, like I look like my mom, who's to say that all the other stuff inside of me isn't, you know, part of my parents as well. And they taught us what they know and they learned what they know, and there's no discount to them. And now we've got this beautiful opportunity to remove that, all that we know, and remember all that we are. It's beautiful. And so your body is here in service of your soul's desires and the guidance of Source, who unconditionally loves you and just wants you to have the best, most joyful experience possible in the easiest, most effortless way possible. And so the more you keep surrendering, the more you keep letting go, the more of that balance you're going to bring into your life, the more of that harmony is going to come in, and the more of that wealth will come into all areas of your life. And the beautiful part is it takes away the worry. It takes away the effort. You can feel the melting away of the desire to having to control everything and white knuckle, because you trust that Source has your back. You trust that God or the divine or the universe, again, whatever you believe, has your back. And we all desire to be led. And it's just shifting the perspective from having your leadership external to all that you know in this particular life, and bringing your leadership within to all that you remember from anything and everything that's possible. And that's the quantum field. And that's how you manifest instantly. And that's how you attract instantly. And that's how you let go of the predictable external attachments to all you know to be safe, and welcome in an actual genuine safety, because it's like it's from within you and it's beautiful. And excuse me. So some of the ways that we're going to get into in a minute about how you can start to let this go. Some more examples I want to share with you about how you're going to feel when this happens. You are going to just feel powerful self-confidence, like I said, deep inner fulfillment, grounded stability. You're intuitively going to know that you're no longer just confined to this one experience, this one world, this one reality, this one box. And you're no longer living in somebody else's reality based on their ego and based on their experiences, which you don't even realize you're picking up. Your reality now is a direct result of your desires, which is in the highest alignment of joy and peace and love and abundance and wealth. And so these changes become permanent. They are sustainable, and that is huge. And presence, the amount of like in the moment living I experience now versus stressing and anxiety and worried about the future, or stressing, anxiety and worried about the past. Deep connection with myself and with everything around me. Deep trust, grounded, safety, effortless, empowerment, grace, alignment, pleasure, intimacy. And like I said, you reduce your anxiety, you reduce your stress. There's no more friction. The drama's gone, the confusion, the doubt, all these things that leave you, I don't know what to do. They start to melt away. And so how can you start to release some of these negative layers, these heaviness, so that you can welcome in more space and more higher vibrations into your world? You know, and as you release these layers of pleasure and pain of all that you're experiencing, like I said, it might be a bit scary because you're only knowing how to get pleasure a certain way externally. And it's painful in the sense that it's just out of alignment. So it could be a little minor hiccup or blip, or it could be like a nuclear explosion. We'll just bucket that into pain because it's out of alignment with the path of least resistance. And the really cool thing is when you allow yourself to feel the uncomfortableness, you then can lead yourself to move through it and welcome more pleasure into your life. And it's really cool because this is the power of duality, is when you experience something lower or uncomfortable and you move through it, you then make space to receive something more pleasurably from yourself. You create space And you do this by allowing yourself to feel. You acknowledge it, you thank yourself, and you celebrate the arrival of this feeling, this healing, this transmutation of the energy that has kept you in this spot, because it's come up to the surface for you to release and let go. And you just keep saying to yourself, you're safe, you're loved, I am there for you every step of the way. This is how you lead yourself through that. And good and bad how it's feeling, this is the empowerment that you are going to be gifting yourself. And it's beautiful. And so I want to share with you a few ways that you can move this energy through your body. And then we're going to go over to Kristy, and Kristy's going to speak on her piece. And so protection is really important. And that's why I did that at the beginning, because I wanted to share with you what's worked for me. Again, you intuitively know what works. So whatever you're drawn to in the moment, trust that. Explore it. Get curious. And again, everything is energy. Okay? And so your home is your heart. It's sacred. And treat it that way. And so the way that I like to view it is nothing in my space comes into my home uninvited unless it's welcomed. And I only want high vibration experiences into my world. And so that's the concept of boundaries. And I'll get into that in a little bit more, but boundaries are basically space. It's not an iron fortress. It's not a brick wall. It's space. And the more confidence, the more healing, the more higher vibration you are, the more space you can carry for yourself and for others. And your boundaries just get bigger. But that outer perimeter, that's the protection that I'm talking about, where whether you ground and you center, or you sage, or you have crystals, or you do visualizations where you protect your aura, or you zip up your bubble, or you pretend you have mirrors in front and you just kind of keep all the negative around. It's whatever works for you to keep that space sacred and safe and high vibration and full of love. Mindfulness. So mindfulness, one of the things I've started doing, gosh, I don't know, maybe within the last couple of years for sure, is daily gratitude. I always ask my kids, what are you grateful for? Never used to do this. So daily gratitude, self-love, all these things are how you talk to yourself. Your ego only knows how to talk to you the way it knows. And so you're rewiring how your ego is talking to yourself. You're putting yourself first. And so whether this is through scheduling and putting little reminders in your phone, or scheduling time for your self-care, whatever it is, leverage that masculine energy, that structure, that action, that stability, to build that new foundation of what that feminine energy within you needs to nurture, to self-care, to bring love. And that's where the speaking mindfully and doing mindful activities are going to help you catch your patterns that are unconscious, that you're just floating through, and then you take powerful leadership from a position of yourself. So healthy boundaries. This all goes hand in hand. I've got healthy boundaries, attachments. Like I said, boundaries are space. And if you treat it as, you're going to notice when you have healthier boundaries, you are going to hold yourself different. You are going to have more capacity to interact with people differently. So just think about where in your life you're getting the most amount of friction right now. That's the boundary that I'm going to invite you to assess. If you need to put a wall up at this moment to protect, so be it. But the goal is to almost treat it like a chain link fence. Things can come and go through it, but you're in charge. Okay. And if you were like me a few years ago, my boundaries were really, really tiny, because everything was like, I was attached to everything. All my leadership was coming from outside of me. I didn't understand how to lead myself. And now, as I've moved and released these layers, my boundaries have become bigger and bigger and bigger. And I have room to hold space for myself powerfully through uncomfortable situations, when my kids are having a temper tantrum, or when my partner's having a bad day. Or even in a space like this where I can hold capacity for more people because my boundaries are healthy and my attachments are healthy, whereas years ago I wouldn't have been able to do this. And then you get invited into my space, and it's the concept of one to many, and pay it forward, and then your boundaries get bigger, and then you pay it forward as well. And so with that is attachments. So like I said before, we have attachments to everything. There's people, places, and things. And think about where you are unable to change patterns, unable to change habits, things that are leading you or controlling you. Those are the attachments. There's also attachment styles. This is how, you know, the patterns that we've experienced as a human. There's different attachment styles. There's secure attachment, there's avoidance, there's dismissive, there's fearful. And when you understand what your attachment style is, and you can move and work with that, that is another level of empowerment, of leadership, of confidence, because you're able to see the patterns, and then you get the choice of what you want to do to shift that pattern into self-leadership versus external leadership. So body wisdom. This one's really cool. Years ago, I would look at all the women that were dancing in like women's circles, and I'd be like, nah, that's not for me. I can't do that. And now that's me. And moving energy in my body has been a beautiful gift to experience. And so what works for me now is anytime you feel something, I want you to pause, and I want you to just connect in with your body and ask yourself, okay, where am I feeling it? Am I feeling it in my heart? Am I feeling it in my throat? Am I feeling it in my tummy? All of these are different chakras and different energy centers, and they all speak. And so if you're feeling a tight throat, maybe you're having a hard time speaking your truth, or something is keeping you from speaking your truth. Or if your heart aches, you know, your heart needs some love, or it's been hurt. Ask yourself what you need. This is where you develop that intimate relationship with yourself, because energy speaks through feelings and nuances, and yeah, it's just a different language. And so you pause and you ask your body, where are you feeling this? You can describe it or not. That's okay. Just say thank you. Have an acknowledgement that there's an awareness that you're seeing it. Don't judge it. Just allow yourself to feel it. And breathe into it. Breathe into wherever you're feeling it. You can breathe into your tummy to like anchor you down into the ground and to give you the stability. But just breathe into it and say loving, positive affirmations and positive reinforcements, because you are your parent, you are your child, you are love. And this is a beautiful opportunity to send love to wherever your body needs it, however it needs it, and just hold space for you. You know, who doesn't want to have your mom or dad pick you up when you scraped a knee? This is basically what you're doing. And so here's a little bit of science with this, which is pretty cool. Your body takes 90 seconds to experience the energy. And then after that 90 seconds, it goes from your body into your mind, where your mind now wants to make stories about what you're experiencing based on previous experiences. And so this is an opportunity where you get to shift the momentum of the stories that you're used to experiencing and take leadership to create new stories. Because you don't want to anchor in that energy based on a previous experience. You want to lead and create your new reality based on what you desire, which is love and pleasure in a non-painful way, and joy. And so allow yourself to feel that for 90 seconds or so. And then I'm going to invite you to get up and go do something else. So for example, you're in the bathroom, you're brushing your teeth. And then, you know, thoughts start swirling in your head. Okay, great. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to experience it. And then you're going to go into another room and you're going to do push-ups or jumping jacks or turn on some music. You want to go do something fun that you enjoy. Think about something you maybe did as a kid that you loved. The whole purpose is you want to disrupt. Maybe you have to go outside and go for a walk. You want to get out and disrupt in a positive, loving, gentle, safe, caring way. And then you allow yourself to feel that. Feel all of it. You can cry, you can scream, you can breathe, you can shake, you can dance, you can walk, you can run, whatever it is. But allow yourself to feel it fully for a minute or two, and then get up and go do something else. Because that's how you're going to lead yourself safely, so that you're not in a state of fight or flight and a knee jerk, and then everything's uncomfortable and painful, and you're not going to want to experience and move through that. This is going to allow you to move through this safely and tenderly and lovingly, so that the next time you can hold more space for the pleasure that you've just transmuted and alkalized that pain with. Meditation has been huge for me. I never meditated before in my life. And very quickly on this one, whether it's guided or whether it's self-guided, again, whatever you're drawn to. I know for me, I can do both. I know my partner, he can't. I would just say whatever you're guided to, 10 or 15 minutes. And if you say, I can't meditate, this isn't for me, then I would encourage and invite you to explore a way that you can do it. And it takes 21 days to create a new habit. So give yourself 3 weeks and see what happens, because it will allow you to calm the noise from the external guidance that you're receiving and allow you to tap in and hear what you're meant to hear. And just play around with it, and just whatever you're drawn to, explore it, because this is an opportunity for you to reconnect with something that you might have not listened to for quite a long time. Masculine and feminine energy. So we're going to go into this a little bit more. So one of the things that I love to do is basically have a conversation with myself. You can do this with yourself or with anybody in your interpersonal relationships. Have a conversation with yourself. Ask your masculine, what does your masculine need? Listen. Your feminine energy is then going to serve that masculine energy what it needs. And then your masculine energy is going to say thank you, and it's going to want to serve the feminine. So I'll give you an example. Husband comes home from work, wants to put his feet up on the couch, watch TV, have a beer, whatever. I'm being totally typecast here. How can the feminine wife nurture this? Well, she's going to create a loving environment. She's going to have a nice dinner on the stove. That's great. So she knows he would like to have a nice, cozy home to come to. So she creates a nice, cozy, welcoming home. He comes home. He's comfortable. He's relaxed. He has filled up his bucket. And now he has an opportunity to connect with her for a beautiful emotional conversation, or a beautiful intimate evening, or run her a bubble bath. It's this constant ebb and flow of the relationship of, I'm going to serve you from a full bucket versus a bucket that's, got the holes leaking out at the bottom that you're constantly trying to fill up. And so if you think about that with your relationship with yourself or your relationship with others, everything in life is a masculine and a feminine. Everything's energy. So what do you need? Awesome. I'm going to serve you lovingly, powerfully, beautifully, because my bucket's full. I don't need anything from it. And that fills up your bucket. And then you want to serve me. And it's just this constant, what goes around comes around. Kristy's going to talk about energy and Reiki and chakras and all those beautiful things. And the last one that I want to talk about is movement, just a little bit more with that. So again, whatever you're drawn to with regards to movement, dance, exercise, yoga, walking, breath work, journaling, you want to move the energy through your body. And you can hold your heart and you can hold your womb as you're doing this. You can say, I love you. You want to breathe into your body. Slow movements are going to allow you to go deep and get more of that like unconscious, subconscious things moving. And then the faster movements are going to allow you to kind of like dust and sweep and clean away. So depending on what you need to do, tap into your body and move. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of feminine energy embodiment work, and it's amazing because you just allow yourself to move wherever. And if, you know, your hips are tight or your arms tight, you just kind of move wherever. And it's a medicine that I did not know existed, and it is beautiful. And when you're doing this, the whole key is to just keep reassuring yourself you're safe, you're loved, you're cared for, you can do this. I'm not going to let anything hurt you. Because when you feel uncomfortable outside of your safety zone, that's when you're going to react based on previous experiences, and you want to respond from a place of self-leadership. So go as slow as you need. Feel as much as you're ready to feel, and then stop. I know for me, I would have liked to have moved through my healing a lot faster than I did, but I needed to really bring my nervous system down and regulate my fight or flight. And I had to go slowly through this. I had to move. I had to learn how to connect and have a conversation with myself and allow my heart to expand open and turn my brain off. And it took me a while. I just went slow. And so these are the ways that I've been able to slowly move through this. And these are the ways that have been able to create more space, healthier boundaries, healthier attachments, powerful self-leadership, calm confidence, unwavering trust. Because I was able to turn off leading externally and welcome leading internally. This has really impacted my intuitive guidance. It's turned on my superpowers, because we all have superpowers. It's allowed me to tap into my body. It's allowed me to connect more intimately with myself, more intimately with my children, my partner, my friends, my family, my community, the whole entire world around me. Because I'm living more powerfully in the moment, and I'm in charge of every one of my moments, and I'm responding and choosing how do I respond versus reacting. And so your external representation is a representation of what's going on inside of you. Your external world is a representation of what's going on inside of you. And so when you shift your reality from reacting to everything around you, and you shift it to creating the reality within you, every single thing around you changes. There's more peace, there's more calm, and there's more wealth in all areas of your life. And so with that, my dear Kristy, the stage is yours.
So I want to start actually by just talking a little bit about my story, because it will just allow me to share with you how we can end up anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed and in unhappy relationships. And so my trauma started when I was 1 or 2. And my mom was married to someone who was extremely abusive. And I lived in this home, and every single day I lived in fear, and I lived in stress and anxiety. And I so vividly remember, I think I was about 5 or 6 when I had my first panic attack. And that became the way that my body responded to things, people, places, situations that were scary, unsafe, and I felt unprotected. And because of all of the trauma and fear and anxiety and chaos that I experienced as a child, I actually became very attuned to that energy. And I was attracted to that. I was always in, not anymore, I was always in relationships that I didn't actually want. And I chose into those relationships because they reminded me of my childhood. the verbal abuse, the physical abuse, the disrespect, you know, the emotional abuse, and me feeling like I had no choice in my life, that I wasn't worthy of having the things that I wanted, that I wasn't able to be in love. And not only that, but I didn't really understand what love was. I thought love was that person that was abusive and the person that would control you and being monitored all the time, and you know, not feeling protected, not feeling safe, um, going with what that other person wanted. And many times I found myself in relationships where they would, you know, they loved me, and I would be like, oh well, I guess I love you too. And I was so unhappy, so uncomfortable in my body. And my body, the more that I went through my life in situations that were not safe, were not meant for me, were not aligned with my purpose, aligned with where I was supposed to be going, aligned with what my soul's desires were, my body became very dysregulated and sick. And I developed hormone issues. I missed a period for 14 years. I had low thyroid. I gained and lost, gained and lost, gained and lost. I was anorexic. I was bulimic. I was so strict on my calories because I was just trying to control the one thing in my life that I could control, and that was my body. But I was trying to control something that was your body leads you. Your body guides you. And when you ignore those signs, it doesn't matter how much you diet, how much you exercise. If your body is overwhelmed with stress and anxiety and it's dysregulated, your body will not work for you. It doesn't matter what you do at this point. And when our nervous systems are constantly dysregulated, constantly activated to protect us, basically, that the nervous system and stress hormones are there to protect us, to save our lives. It's like you close your eyes and you imagine this lion just chasing you through the jungle. That's what your mind is thinking, and your body's reacting to that. So anxiety is really mind body connection. The mind starts thinking all of these thoughts, just like Amy was saying. You know, you're brushing your teeth and you have all these negative thoughts roaming around in your mind. You're, you know, sitting there trying to focus on your work, and you're thinking about your body and how much you don't like your body, and what did I eat today, and when could I eat next, and all the things that are going through your mind. The negativity that permeates through your body starts to react, your body starts to shake, your heart starts to beat fast. And now a panic attack is when the mind starts to fear what's happening in the body. And this is just your body telling you something is not right. This is not right, because we are not made, like Amy said, we are not here to experience, you know, of course, pain and pleasure. That is the circle of life. That's just how it is. That's what life is here. We're here to do. We're here to expand. We cannot experience love and pleasure if there is no pain. But it's the way that we listen and tune in and get curious about the pain, get curious about those triggers, and get curious about what your body is telling you. I said before, you know, I've been in relationships where I knew deep in my soul, like it was so strange, because I chose into these and I agreed to be in these relationships, but I also knew in my mind, like, wow, how, like, and I would act like such a B word, because I would be like, how do I get this person to stop loving me? Like, as if I don't have that control to be like, you know what? I'm really not into this relationship, but thanks and bye, right? I would just accept that and then wait for them to break up with me. And I would act like such a brat like the entire time. Like, have you guys ever seen the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? I love this movie. I love this movie because she is literally doing every single thing that would irritate the crap out of a guy. And that was me. Like, I was just so rude all the time, but they wouldn't break up with me. That was a clear sign to me that it was a very toxic situation. Any man, first of all, that stays with us when things are toxic, they're toxic. The relationship is toxic. I ignored those signs. I stayed in relationships. I waited until they chose they were done with me. And then what happened? I became sick. I became sick, imbalanced. My hormones were imbalanced. I was losing my hair. Obviously, it's back now. I was losing my hair. I lost my period. My stress hormones damaged my gut, my intestinal lining. My muscle in my arms and my legs that I had built for years working out started to deteriorate. And that's what dysregulation is. It's high stress hormones and imbalances, and that creates so much illness. And just, I actually looked up the word dysregulation yesterday because I was writing some notes for today. And autoimmune, chronic inflammation, myelitis, which is the fatty tissue around your nerves, very important to protect your nerves, your nervous system, starts to deteriorate, your gut starts to deteriorate. And so it's really important for us to focus on listening to our bodies, coming back to ourselves, and listening to that gut feeling in your body. How do I feel around this person? Am I supposed to be here in this job? Like, I feel so sick every single day. I was in a job for 8 years. And by the end of the 8 years, I actually was pushed out of the job because I broke my foot. It was my right foot. I couldn't drive. I had a cast on. And then a week later, I found out I was pregnant with my son. And so, thank God, I was pushed out of this job, because by the end of that, I was so unable to eat. My stomach was constantly bloated. I had that tension and that burning feeling in the pit of my gut constantly. I would wake up bloated. I couldn't sleep. I was rolling around in my bed, exhausted, painfully exhausted every single night. I would wake up in the morning, there were days where I wore sunglasses sitting at my desk at my job. And I didn't know how to get out. I didn't have the tools to get out. I didn't know, I was already a health coach. I was already in fitness. I was already in nutrition. I just didn't know how to take that out into the world and offer my services and make it a business, which obviously I've learned now, but I just didn't have the tools to regulate my system. I tried diet after diet after diet. I was exercising and my weight would not stay regulated. My weight was climbing. I was so inflamed. And that's something that we have to understand, is that when our systems are completely out of balance, when we have all those stress hormones, when we're dysregulated, there is nothing that we can do that will get rid of that inflammation, the weight gain from the inflammation, with dieting and exercise. That's just going to perpetuate issues. If you're, and something that I teach in my health coaching with my health coaching clients is that if we think about all the things that created this imbalance, if we think about all the things that created the weight gain or the autoimmune or the inflammation, those are all things that, or maybe it's diets, maybe it's the control, maybe it's an eating disorder, maybe it's binging, restricting. This is all very stressful to our bodies. And if we think about how we got into the place that we are, the reason why diets and doing HIIT training and all the things that we do when we gain weight, we start to freak out and we're like, okay, well, I gotta remove this and this and this from my diet, or I have to go to the gym and work out and do this every single day, you know, and then we start to feel guilty about workouts, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all the things that actually created it, because they're all very low vibrational energies. Restricting, binging, covering up our emotions, pouring food into our bodies to stuff down emotions. And what I so love about doing the inner work is that I've been able to, you know, I used to not be able to like take a bite of something just to taste it. If I took a bite, it was like the whole thing. And I would just binge on it, because in my mind, I would perpetuate these thoughts of, well, you're not going to eat tomorrow then. It was always such a punishing feeling, like a suppressing, punishing feeling, right? And so what I've learned in the last, I don't know, 2016, 14, 15, 16, when I started to live the lifestyle that I live now, was that the only way to bring our bodies back into balance so that it works for us, the only way to calm our systems down, to allow our bodies to trust us, because part of dysregulation is our bodies do not trust us. The inflammation, the weight that we gain in relationships that I was in where I gained weight, it was a protective layer to protect me from the person. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. You're not attracted to me now, basically. And so what I want to add to this is that if we think about all the things that have created a current situation, we've gained weight, we are unhappy with our bodies, we're unhappy with our lives, it's all because we are not giving ourselves that love by honoring what our bodies and what our souls know to be true. We're not living in our truth. We're not standing in our power. We're not, being honest with ourselves as to who we want to be with, what job we want to be working, what foods are good for us, right? And that's another thing I really wanted to get into, is the food. Once we get to this place where our bodies are really dysregulated, we have all this cortisol flowing through our bloodstream, and I've talked about this a lot in my content on my page, but cortisol really is the root cause. Stress and trauma and cortisol is the root cause of being out of balance, meaning if you have an autoimmune disorder, PCOS, low thyroid, there is always some kind of trauma that's attached to that. There is always some type of imbalance with the hormones, with cortisol, that is causing that dysregulation, high blood sugar. And then with that, now our bodies are more prone to having heavy metal toxicity, viruses, low immunity, and inflammation, and all the things that can really create a very difficult situation for us to lose the weight, or to bring our bodies back to balance, or bring our nervous systems back in to check, right? And so learning to get back into your body, learning to not diet your way back down to a specific weight, or exercise, now movement, dance, walking, lifting weights in a very specific way is very important to get your body and moving, and getting that trauma that's stored in the muscles, because trauma is stored in the muscles, trauma is stored in the gut, in our chakras, and bring us out of alignment. But replenishment, rebuilding, nourishment, the stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, and your nervous system can pull out, deplete our minerals, deplete our vitamins in our body. So we really want to focus on nourishing our bodies, replenishing our bodies, mineralizing our bodies so that we can be supported and have our food now supporting us through these stressors. And also, when we're not feeling well, when we're feeling stressed and we have that pain, that tension in our bodies, and mostly we will experience it in the pit of our gut, solar plexus. If we have that, it is very difficult for us to have space to work through our emotions. And so in my practice, I will always start with relaxing the body by eliminating things that are causing stress and inflammation in the body, and replenishing the body to give you more energy to be able to really rebalance your body and to bring it back into a place where you can now, you feel good enough, you have enough energy to work through the trauma, the emotions, and everything that has been suppressed, oppressed by, you know, food and everything else that we do to kind of like use as vices to move through our lives, to cope with our lives. And so food is very important. And, you know, fruits, vegetables, starches, all really, really good foods to replenish your body. The last thing I want to say is that once we get to a place where we're connected, mind, body, spirit, and I know Amy explained this as well, we actually have an easier time moving through our lives, being guided through our lives, because the body is here to show you, this doesn't feel good. This feels good. This doesn't feel good. This feels good. And it's just like every single day, you know, I have friends that I don't talk to anymore because they made my stomach hurt. I have people that I don't hang around with, that I keep my distance from in my family, because they make my stomach hurt. And it's okay. It's okay to protect your energy. Your energy is your power. Your body, your health is your power. You know, and just speaking to some of us who are trying to make more money, trying to create businesses, trying to find love, lose weight, get healthier, gain more energy, sleep better. The only way that you're going to be able to do this in the way that you imagine or visualize is if your body is in a homeostasis or regulated, balanced state. And that is the purpose of why we're having this conversation with you today, because that's something that we had to learn. You know, in high stress, we can't think, we're not connected. When we're in that high stress state, we're not connected. We're not connected to God within us, spirit within us. And it's really, really important to understand that. And if you want to create something, your nervous system is dysregulated, you're not going to be able to focus or think. You're going to have that brain fog. If you're not calling in the money, if you're not gaining more clients, signing more clients, there's probably something that is within you that is dysregulating your system and causing you to feel brain fog, confusion, insecurity, lack of confidence. And so, yes, this is exactly why we really wanted to put this on for you, to help you understand. You know, I get a lot of people asking, why can't I lose weight? I work out so hard. You know, I do CrossFit, I do HIIT training, I've been doing low carb, I've been doing keto. And, you know, I don't understand why I can't have consistent clients in my business. And really, it's within us. And once we come back to ourselves and allow ourselves to be guided by our bodies, and to be guided by having pleasure, having fun, enjoying ourselves, now we become energetically aligned with the things that we would like to manifest. And yeah, so being aligned with ourselves is actually aligning us with the things that we want. And if you constantly think about making more money, having that business, having a healthier body, and visualizing a better physique, or becoming more lean, or whatever it is that you're thinking about, the reason why, well, there's a couple of reasons. If we're always thinking or putting those things on a pedestal, we're not going to be able to reach them. It's like too far away, right? And so the other thing is, if we're always worried and thinking like, why don't I have it? Why don't I have it? What am I doing wrong? I'm confused. That is going to keep you in that energy. And so to just help you guys to understand that it's all within us. It's all within being clear, having space to think, having space for more clients, having space to work out more, having space to be more healthy and calm and relaxed. And for yourself is to really find practices and foods and exercises and movements and meditations and breath work and all the things that are going to guide you towards the things that you really desire. Yeah.
I love how you and I share like the similar message with just two different perspectives, because it's so, I mean, I was bulimic. Like I had any number of unhealthy relationships my entire life. You name it, that was me. Mm-hmm. And I love how we deliver the same message with just our experience. It's beautiful. So thank you for that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so many, like me telling that story, that was obviously divinely guided for me to tell my story and to just share that I lived in fight or flight for so many years. I was always running and afraid because of what I experienced in my childhood. And I needed to go back to that place, and I needed to work through that trauma, and I needed to face it and feel it and allow myself to release it from my body. And just to touch on the Reiki for a second, when I became attuned to Reiki energy, I noticed the relationship with myself also change and shift, and just really understand. Like I will lay in bed and draw the codes on me, and just I'll go to sleep like this and just open my heart and pray, because that energy from our past lives, from our parents, from being in our mother's womb, it gets passed down to us. So we always need to protect our energy, clear our energy, work on our energy, be mindful and aware of ourselves. And so that's the point of Reiki, is to help to clear trauma, help to clear your energetic pathways, to keep your solar plexus open and clear and your throat chakra clear, so that you can speak your truth. And so that when you speak your truth, you're not getting that pain in your stomach because you've spoken your truth. When we don't speak our truth, we get that tightness and a tension in our bodies, our shoulders, our necks, our guts, and that stops all processes in our bodies. It shuts down our digestive system. It shuts down our hormones. And then people are running to the doctors. Well, I have low thyroid. Yeah, you probably aren't speaking your truth. You probably aren't eating foods that are supporting your stress and your life. You're probably in an unhappy relationship, or maybe you have trauma from your childhood that's making you feel like you can't speak, or it's all, everything is so connected. Everything is so connected. And yeah, as I'm, when you're talking, you can start, once you get connected to your body and start to really become aware of your body, you can start to tell. Like I'll be talking to someone, and before I say something, sometimes I'll get like itchy and like in my throat. And it's like my guide's saying, nope, don't go there. Or I'll be talking to someone, I'm trying to get my truth out to them, and I'll start coughing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no. And then I'll breathe, and I'll say what I need to say. Because if I hold that in, it's just going to block my entire system. So that is the point of Reiki, is to really to excel your healing process, to release that energy from your body and to clear the pathways so that things run more smoothly. You can be more relaxed and be more divinely guided.
And I will add, that is the point of coaching or mentorship or any number of modality you choose to help you of service, because we're all here for a soul mission, a personal soul mission, and then a of service mission to others. And when you align with your truth, you get activated. Your superpower comes online. Kristy's Reiki, my relationship with the masculine and the feminine. I'm here to harmonize my world and my world. And this is how I serve others, is by sharing how I've been able to bring harmony and all of these beautiful things to my world. And we are all unique. There's 8 billion of us on this planet. There's no mistakes in the universe. We are all here for a purpose. And that purpose is to live your truth through you, of service to yourself and of service to others. And when you do that, everything just becomes easier. And this is why we really wanted to share this with you, because yes, this masterclass is about how to calm your nerves and welcome your wealth, but it is so much more. It is wealth in every part of your being. And whether you move through your life on your own, or whether you desire guidance and support or community or research or your own tutelage, however you're meant to get from A to B, that's cool. That's your choice. We are here to make your life easier and to show you to make it easier. But you have a path to travel, and hopefully this conversation has opened your eyes and allowed you some guidance and wisdom to make that path through easier, more joyful, more loving, more calm, more centered for yourself.